Hello my friends, and welcome back to a blind let's play of Ever 17 for the PC, The Out of Infinity. My name is FlightlessBird, this is your story-based gaming channel, and today my friends, I don't know where the heck we are. It looks like we're in Himmel for some reason. And I want to give a shout out to Entra for pointing out what Yamatsu Hirasaka is. I at first thought that was just a person, in the story. But according to Wikipedia, it's actually the boundary between this world where the living live and the other world where the dead live. And Gabriel, one of the previous chapter titles, Gabriel is a messenger of God who deciphers God's word to humans so that we can understand them better. And Malak means messenger or a messenger of God in Judaism. So it seems like there's a lot of chapter titles here involving someone trying to speak to us from beyond the here and now, I guess is the best way to say it. Because I don't think God is trying to speak to us as far as this game goes, but I think there's something else at play where maybe future us who was dead is coming back to us to tell us things to avoid said future? All the question marks? I don't know. I'm just theorizing now, but with that said, let's try to figure out where the heck we are. It looks like we're in Himmel. Himmel, you know what I mean. The next thing I knew, I was standing there. All the dots. The corridor I was in wasn't very popular. It was completely silent. It was narrow, dark, cold. Where is this? I wondered if it was really in the Mew. Nothing looked familiar. It was like an unknown world. I just stood there in the middle of the foreign corridor. Wait. I knew that space. For some reason, it seemed familiar to me. Like an image that appeared and hid in the mist, not quite visible. Or like the moon peeking in between gaps in a thick night fog. It was a corridor that stretched on straight forward. It seemed to go on forever in both directions. I started walking without really thinking about it. I've been here before. But when could it have been? It feels like something long ago, but at the same time, like something recent. I couldn't remember when. I just kept walking to nowhere in particular. I have to go. But where was it that I felt I had to go? I didn't know why, but I felt like that I had to go. That's why I'm walking. In a soundless world. A colorless world. A scentless world. A world that didn't exist anywhere. And then the scenery suddenly changed. See, I told you we're in Himmel. I found myself in a big room. It was big and white and quiet. And let's not forget Himmel. Doesn't Himmel mean like sky or heaven as well? Or Himmel means heaven and Sora means sky? Kind of forget which one's which. But yeah, there's a lot of deep meaning behind every single name here. It was big and white and quiet. This looked like a hospital. That was what I thought. In a corner of the room were 3 capsule-like machines. As if they were calling out to me, I approached the capsules. Someone was in the capsules. Someone was sleeping in there. I reached out my right hand toward the capsule. My hand made contact. In that instant, without a sound, the lights went off. Huh? Startled, I tried to jump backwards. But my right hand was stuck to the capsule. I couldn't pull it back. I looked back at the capsule. All the lines? From the point where my hand was touching the capsule's lid, a blackish sticky liquid began seeping out. And again, we have this strange picture of like... I want to say death because I'm looking at like this face here and sort of like demonic looking thing down here. I really don't know what this swirl represents, so. But it almost looks like these are skulls down here. From the point where my hand was touching the capsule's lid, a blackish sticky liquid began seeping out. No, it was more dark blue than black. The capsule continued to ooze, blackish blue and deep blue. I didn't know and couldn't imagine what was going on. That's right, someone's inside. I had to open this and save them. But my body wouldn't move. It felt paralyzed. I stopped breathing and could only watch what was unfolding. Finally, that sticky blue liquid covered the entire capsule. But it didn't stop there. It kept going. To the floor, the walls, the ceiling, as if it would swallow the whole room. It was like a living animal with a will of its own reproducing itself. The sticky blue liquid began to crawl up my body, up my legs and my hands, inside my clothes and between my legs. I couldn't shake it off or scream. I could only watch. After covering my body, it forced my mouth open and started flowing inside. It invaded me through my ears, my nose, and the pores in my skin. In my body, the blue traveled around, reaching my brain, my lungs, and my heart. It began eating away at my brain, my organs, and my blood vessels. What the heck is going on? The blue liquid sucked my blood and started changing its color to black. I was changing into something that wasn't me. Ah! All the lines. Assaulted by boundless fear and horrible despair, I howled a soundless scream. My eyes snapped open, so now we're back in the medical bay. What is going on in this game? The next thing I knew, I was on a bed. And look, the title is now called The Third Eye. It smelled a disinfectant. I wondered where I was. I was drenched in sweat. My heart was pounding. I had a dull headache. I lifted up my torso and glanced around me. The room was dim, but nothing seemed out of the ordinary. It was scenery that I knew. Oh yeah, I'm back in the infirmary. I finally realized I had just been having a dream. I got my breath back and thought back to the dream. Let's see. All the dots. Huh? What had seemed so vivid only moments ago seemed to vanish from my mind like clouds covering the night sky. All that was left was an unknown fear, a slight headache, and a fragment of a dream. I gave up and looked around me. The area was enveloped in a faint darkness. It wasn't a blackout. The lights had been dimmed to make it easier to sleep. The proof seemed to be the light breathing that I could hear coming from the bed next to me. I thought it might be Sarah. Wide awake, I got out of bed. I suddenly noticed something. There was someone lying face down next to me, or next to my bed asleep. I squinted to see who it might be. It was you. I thought that she was going to be sore for sure after sleeping in that position. Aw, she really cares. To at least keep her from catching cold, I went to cover her with a blanket. Just then. Oh, kid, good morning. Oh, did I wake you up? No, I didn't mean to go to sleep. I guess I dozed off. Alright then. You shouted as she stood up. So, how are you feeling? I feel perfectly fine. How could you be? You've been hearing things, seeing things, and that's proof that your nerves are shot. All the dots. I've been looking out for you every night, so I feel kind of responsible. Every night? Did we sleep more than one night? It's not your fault. Well, that makes me feel a little better. Saying that, you shrugged her shoulders. I'm done with the bed, so you can sleep here, you. What about you? I slept enough this afternoon. I'm not tired. I see. You thought for a moment. Or a minute. Either way. In that case, will you hang out with me tonight? Sure. So we decided to hang out again that night in what seemed to be becoming a nightly ritual. We going back to Lemuria? Ooh, yes we are, and another very awesome picture of you. Gosh, it looks so beautiful. The Lemurian ruins. We climbed on the top of the roof of one of the buildings and gazed out over the scenery. This reminds me a lot of Cloud and Tifa climbing up that slide in Final Fantasy VII. I actually didn't know why we had decided to climb up on that particular night, but if I was to take a stab at the reason, it was probably because Lemuria was so beautiful then. For a while, the two of us were silent, just enjoying the view. Finally, I started the conversation. Hey, let's get to the bottom of things. To the bottom of what? Let's get to the truth about your past. About your father and mother. All the dots. That and the truth about my past. About my lost memories and my ability to see the future. All the dots. That and one more thing. The truth about all of our past. And why this accident happened. Why were we the only ones trapped here? Why couldn't we get out? All the dots. I'm tired of dwelling on this. I mean it. Let's really figure things out tonight. Kid? You stared into the distance. Huh? I'm sorry, but could we just forget about that today? Huh? Why? I just feel so tired. That wasn't the reason that I invited you here today. All the dots? I wonder why we had come there. Why do you get so caught up in knowing about the past of people? You can never take back what's happened in the past. All we can do is live in the moment with what's happening to us right this instant. We can't hop back and forth to the past or the future. All the dots. The future will come. But until that moment comes, the future is just like the dark. You can't see anything. You never know what might happen a minute from now. The future is scary, so that's why people look to the past. If you look back, everything is clearly illuminated. But the past is really the same. The further that you get away from the present, the darker it is and the less you can see. Well, that's a very bleak thing. I mean, there's a term called, rose-colored glasses. The idea that when you look into the past, you always see it better than what it might actually have been as time progresses. It's kind of the opposite of what she's saying here. All the dots. To me, it seemed to lose your memory. Like I had made everything pitch black. No, rather, things became nothing. The only sphere that we could truly know is really tiny. Especially when it comes to time, we're essentially blind. That's why I just want to value this moment. Aww. The past and the future, I don't care about them anymore. All the dots. I was left speechless. There was nothing I could be expected to say. Because she was no longer focused on reflecting on her past. She was different from me. I alone was intent on knowing everything. I believed that I had to know it or else. But you wasn't like that. The dragon had left the damsel free. There was no longer any need to vanquish it. All the dots. I didn't know how much time had passed. There nothing for us to do, so we just gave ourselves to slowly passing time. Even though there was no meaning in it, I didn't feel that there was any reason for being there. I've had enough of this. I stood up quickly. So, should we get some sleep? Huh? What? All the dots. What's wrong? I want to spend just a little more time with you. Huh? But there's nothing for us to do, is there? That was what I was about to say, but you said... There's something about being with you that relaxes me. All the dots. I sat down again where I was. I figured that even if it was nothing to do... I figured that even if it was nothing to me, it might mean something to her. Hey, do you know what I'm thinking right now? I shook my head. Guess. How am I supposed to know? You're thinking that you wish this time could just stop and this moment could occur forever. You traveled through time, right? You experienced all this before, right? In that case, you should know what I'm about to do. You don't believe in time travel, right? That's not what I'm saying. All the dots. So guess. You repeated herself. Are you going to do something? Yeah, probably. Aw, she's gonna kiss us! What are you going to do? I keep telling you to guess, right? Or hug us, or tackle us, one of the three. All the dots. You don't know? I don't know. What is it you're supposed to do at times like this? What? Use your other eye. My other eye? The third eye? Yep. When the third eye opens, true wisdom is apparent and all becomes visible. But how? You want me to teach you? Yeah. It was something I had hoped for. If I could harness that power, then my past memory... First, do you know where the first eye is? She mean the past? I cocked my head, thinking. It's here. As she spoke, Yu's index finger approached my right eye. Oh, she meant the literal eye. I closed it. The tip of Yu's finger touched my eyelid. And the second eye? Right here. Without giving me a second to think, you did the same thing to my left eye. And the third eye is either in the middle or on the back of your head, right? And the third eye... That's right here. All the dots. I felt something soft touch my lips. Startled, I opened my eyes. Yeah! Saw that one coming. My mind went completely blank. I couldn't think of anything. The third eye. Had I found true wisdom? Had all things become visible to me? It was a lie. I felt more and more confused. The scene in front of me, the soft touch of skin, and the sweet smell that made my brain numb. It was all I could do to absorb those. That so-called third eye gave only the truth, warmth, confusion, and affection. That night passed as I etched pure, slow, and new memories into my mind. Babylon, May 6th. Another biblical reference. Well, okay. yes, Babylon is a biblical reference, but Babylon is also just a regular historical reference. Obviously, King Hammurabi creating first the first written set of code of laws. Technically, it wasn't probably the first written set, but it was the first written set that was established over like a wide range of people. Yeah, he believed in lax talionis, which basically means an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. The next morning, after breakfast, we all gathered in the conference room. When I saw Babylon, by the way, I thought of the word Babel, which would be more biblically referenced. For some reason, my brain just stopped at Bab. More accurately, we gathered because Sora had called us together. I guess you making moves blinked my brain there. Sugumi also made a rare appearance. Hey, we have a skip for a change. Now, let's end this meeting. Until there is new information available, please do what you will. However, if you do discover anything, please inform me immediately via Lemmy. Excuse me, Sora. Yes, Komachi-san. What is on your mind? Sugumi suddenly stood in front of Sora. Her smile seemed just a little forced. Is this when they're gonna go have a conversation? Yes, it is. Alright, all the dots. Those of us left stared at the hologram in the conference room and settled down to plotting a strategy to save ourselves. The four of us, you, Sarah, Takeshi, and I, gathered around the table. We reviewed the facts as we knew them. There were two ways to get to the surface from Lemieux. One, use the elevator in the central area, and two, climb one of the complex 12 sets of emergency stairs. The central area floor was completely flooded. Even if we could get to the elevator, we couldn't be certain that it would move. We still didn't know the cause of that either. The emergency stairs were also filled with water from the second floor, so they were impassable. I accidentally clicked. Actually, I hit the spacebar button. So the spacebar button is the same as the right click of your mouse. There was only one method that could be used to remove the floodwater. That was to use a high-pressure fan to pump the complex full of high-pressure gases and purge it of seawater. But at that moment, we weren't able to operate the fan from inside Lemieux. And like the elevators, we still had no idea why. If we couldn't start it from the inside, then it could be started from the outside. But all the communication channels to the outside had been cut off, and swimming our way to freedom was out of the question. The water pressure and other problems made that suicidal. And if we couldn't find a way out on our own, then we'd have to rely on rescue efforts from outside. But that was something we couldn't depend upon. We hadn't been able to communicate with the outside for the 5 days since we'd been trapped, and there were no signs help was coming. So we knew that we had to exclude a miracle rescue from our options. No, from the beginning. We had reconciled ourselves with the facts of our situation long before. We figured since there had been no contact or rescue, not even the slightest sign, maybe there was a reason people couldn't get near Lemieux. Or maybe someone had intentionally sealed us in. So we came up with 3 steps we should focus on. A. Restoring communications with the outside. But that was only relevant if the people on the outside were willing to cooperate. B. Find another way to drain the water from the complex other than the high-pressure fan. But according to Sora, there was no other way to do that. C. Find an escape route other than the elevator or emergency stairs, like maybe a submarine. But according to Sora's information, there were no longer any left at Lemieux. She had said that all had been used during the evacuation on May 1st. Final conclusion. Current prognosis for escape, hopeless. But there was one thing. Sugumi had said that there was an escape method that only she knew about. It did, in fact, exist. And there was a way that all 6 of us could escape. Then that would be our only hope. Right.
結局のところ、俺たちには打つ手なしってことか。
There's really nothing that we can do.
つぐみと空の報告を待つしかないね。
We'll just have to wait for a report from Sugumi and Sora. All the dots.
にしても、つぐみのやつ遅えな。
Yeah, but Sugumi hadn't even come back yet.
いくらなんでも遅すぎるよね。
She is kind of taking a long time.
何かあったんでしょうかね。
Maybe there's a reason. All the dots. Maybe. Hey, should I go see how things are going?
え、
Huh?
そうだな。よろしく頼む。
Oh yeah, you go do that.
一人で大丈夫？
You okay alone? Yeah, fine, I'll just go take a peek. With that, I left the conference room. I headed down the corridor to the control room. With the situation the way it was, we weren't going to find a solution no matter how much we were worried about it. That was clear. So we would have to take control of this situation. But how could we do that? We couldn't just rely on thinking, we need to act. Wasn't this the scene where Coco started to bleed for the first time? The key to the first step down the path was in the hands of Tsugumi and Sora. That was what I believed. I arrived in front of the control room. I pushed the intercom buzzer, but there was no answer. My only choice was to open the door. When I did, I heard Tsugumi shouting, "Don't make me keep repeating the same thing!" Tsugumi and Sora were in the middle of an argument, so what Ted said seemed they might start going at it hand to hand. Neither one would budge, they just glared at one another. It looked as though they had been fighting for several minutes. The room was filled with tension. The two glanced at me for only an instant before launching back into the argument.
ですから、先ほどから申し上げている通り、そのような場所など存在しないのです。
And if you're wondering, no, I cannot skip this. So, there's something new here. Obviously, Coco's not here. So, that's going to change this, right? Like I've been telling you, that place just does not exist.
ねえ、ソラ、お願いだから、これ以上私を怒らせない。
Sora, please don't make me any angrier.
他の連中は騙せても、私に嘘は通じないの。
You might be able to trick the others, but lies won't work on me.
嘘ではありません。
It's not a lie.
まだ言う気？
You still sticking to that line? It was a bad scene. Something about the whole thing screamed danger. It wouldn't do to let the two go at it like that. I retraced my steps, hurrying to the conference room. Hey everyone, we got trouble. Without waiting for the door to completely open, I bounded into the room.
早かったな。
That was quick. Yeah, let's go. We burst into the room. The room was full of sharp words and barbed looks. The atmosphere was tense. It left a bad taste in my mouth. Nothing had changed at all. It might be safer to say that things had gotten worse.
ドリッドストップの下にフロアはありません。降りることはできないんです。
There aren't any floors underneath the stock. We can't go down any farther.
嘘。
Liar.
あなたが嘘をついてる。
You're lying.
私には分かっている。私は知っているの。
I know. Oh, how I know.
レミューにはさらに下の階があるって。
There is another floor under Lemieux.
レミューとは別の施設。それがこの真下にあるの。ずーっと下の方によ。
No, there's another facility other than Lemieux, and it's right below us, really far down.
ね、そうでしょ。
I'm right, aren't I? All the dots.
その問いにはこうお答えするしかありません。
There is only one answer to your question.
そんな施設など存在しませんと。
No such facilities exist. You know what I don't get about this scene though? Didn't we unlock Sora's ability? Well, we gave a higher priority of our safety over company's secrets. So with that said, our safety, if she, what's the right word? If she believes that we would not be benefited by going to Hamel, then she wouldn't divulge that information to us because her safety is the primary responsibility of her programming now. So if us going there has no impact on her safety, then the next step in her processes would be to protect the secret. So therefore, she would protect the secret. I think that's what's happening here.
そんなはずはないでしょ。
There have to be.
じゃあ、あの部屋は何？
Then what about that room?
あのヒンメルは一体何なのよ。
What is that Himmel about? All the questionable dots. Himmel? I thought I had heard, no, I had seen it before. The name of a room? Where have I seen it? Wow, that was a quick flash. But my memory was vague. I couldn't connect the name with any information in my brain.
いい？あなたは知らないだろうけど、あの扉は今日。
Listen, you don't know about it, but today the door is...
おい、つぐみ。
Hey, Tsugumi. Suddenly, Takeshi got between them.
つぐみ、その話、俺にも聞かせてもらおうか。
Tsugumi, why don't you tell me about that? Oh, the dots. Oh, the dots.
ここまで聞いちまったんだ。もう隠し事も何もないだろう。
Well, if we've all heard this much, you can't have anything more to hide, right? Takeshi stared intently at Tsugumi. Huh. Takeshi turned back to us.
なあ、悪いんだけど、
Hey, if you don't mind,
ここは俺に任せてくれないか。
I'll take care of this. Huh?
何それ？
What?
私たちは出て行けってこと？
Are you telling us to leave?
ああ、大人数であれこれ言い合っても収拾がつかなくなるだけだろ。
Yeah, with this many people arguing, nothing will get settled.
だからここは俺と空とつぐみに任せてくれ。
So, just leave this to me, Sora, and Tsugumi.
しばらく3人だけにしてくれ。
Leave us alone for a bit. All the dots. All the dots. All the dots. Alright, let's leave this to Takeshi.
少年？
Kid?
なんでそんな重要な話し合いで私たちだけがのけ者にならなきゃいけないわけ？
Why should the three of us be excluded from such an important discussion? I trust Takeshi. And Takeshi has trust in us. All the dots. Takeshi has his own take on things. And I think we should go with what he thinks.
サンキュー少年。すまんな。
Thanks, kid.
しょうがないな。じゃあ、クラナリ、あんたに任せるからね。
Oh, whatever. Fine, Kirinari. We'll leave it up to you, okay?
ああ、わかった。
Alright, I got it. We left the three of them in the control room. After that, we decided to take some action of our own. The estimated time until Lemieux's implosion was steadily approaching. We decided to run a visual check on the complex to see how everything was. Of course, Lemieux had already checked everything, so it was a meaningless action. But we felt that we had to do something. I took a corridor near the Cosmic Whale Room. Rather, near what remained of it. The Cosmic Whale Room was already filled with water. I wondered what the girl I had seen around here was. Where had she gone? Who was the girl singing that lonely children's song? Was she a ghost or something else? Just as I was thinking that, ugh! Suddenly I was hit with a bout of dizziness. My vision contorted and I couldn't stand. I leaned against the wall and slowly crouched on the floor. I was unable to focus my mind. I felt cold. My joints were throbbing. Oh! Ow! My stomach felt like it was contracting in on itself. I couldn't stand it and sprinted into the bathroom. I threw up everything in my stomach. All the dots. It was a stew of half-digested chunks of tuna sandwich. I looked at it indifferently and put my hand on my forehead. I wasn't feverish, but I felt terrible. I took the AE elevator up to the second floor. I headed toward the infirmary, intending to get some medicine. Along the way, I saw Takeshi. He was leaning against the wall, muttering. He was probably just talking to himself, but I heard what he was saying.
たく、何にも起きねえじゃないか。手任せ言いやがって、あの女。
Dang, nothing's happened. Oh, that lying woman.
もう時間がねえってのによ。
We don't have time for this. Lying? Woman? He seemed to be in a bad mood. Hey there, Takeshi.
あ？おう、少年か。なんじゃい。
Huh? Oh, hey kid, what's up? How was the talk with Tsugumi and Sora?
ああ、あれな。
Oh, that.
ダメダメ。全然話になんね
That's not good. And nothing there. Huh? What do you mean?
え。つぐみの勘違いだったんだよ。単なるあいつの思い込みだったんだ。
Segumi's got it all wrong. She doesn't know what she's talking about. So the escape route?
ああ、もちろん白紙に戻ったってわけだ。
Nah, we're back to square one. Oh, I see. I had held out hope that he could pull us through. It was a bitter disappointment.
おっとそうだ。こうしてらんねえよ。
Oh, that's right. I can't be standing around. Huh?
俺もう行くわ。今忙しいんだよ。
I've got to run. I've got things to do.
じゃあな。
Later. All the dots. Looking stiff, Takeshi headed off. I was left alone. Sarah and Sora were in the infirmary. It seemed the two of them were having a complicated discussion.
じゃあここのネットワークを通じてライプリヒ本社のデータベースにも侵入できるんだね。
So, can you get into the Liebig Company database through this network? Right?
ええ、理論上は可能です。
Yes, it is theoretically impossible.
しかし本社のデータベースはこことは比較にならないぐらいプロテクトは強固です。
But the database at headquarters has security that makes what we have here look simple in comparison.
並大抵のことでは侵入どころか逆ハックされてしまうことでしょう。
Not only is it hard to break into, it will hack back at you.
それに現在外部との通信は普通状態ですし。
Besides, there are no open communication channels with the outside.
でもケーブルが断線してるわけじゃないんだよね。
But it's not like the cable connecting us to the group is cut off, right?
はい。
Correct.
だったら受信はできなくても送信はできてるかもしれないわけだ。
So, even if we can't receive communications, we might be able to send them.
その可能性はあります。
There is that possibility.
そっか。だとしたら。
Well, in that case...
あれ少年、いつの間に入ってきたの？
Huh? Hey, a kid. When did you get here? I've been here for a bit.
そうなの。全然気づかなかった。
Oh, really? I didn't even notice.
どうかなさったのですか？あまり顔色が優れないようですが。
Is something wrong? You don't look so well. Oh, our chapter's changed. Osmodeus. Osmodeus. I know that name. Oh, I'm gonna have to look this up later. I'm not gonna stop in the middle of an episode to look it up, but I will need to look that up later. Yeah, that escape route that Tsugumi was talking about. So she turned out to be wrong?
はい。どうやらそのようです。
Yes, it would appear so. I see.
そんなに落ち込まないでください。まだ望みを捨ててはいけません。
Please do not let it dampen your spirits. You can't give up hope.
朝に申し上げたように、私もレミも最後まで全力で皆さんのために尽くしますから。
Like I said this morning, Lemmy and I are doing all we can to get you out of here. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
ところで少年は何の用でここに？
So, what are you doing here, kid? Oh yeah, I came to get some medicine or some, I don't know, vitamin supplements?
あれ？少年も具合悪いとか？
Huh? Are you feeling bad too? Huh? You too, Sarah?
皆さん、かなりお疲れのようですね。無理もないことですけど。
Everyone seems fairly fatigued. Don't overdo it.
ナッキ先輩もさっき来たんだよ。
Naki was just here as well.
やっぱストレスかな？それとも睡眠不足？食事は竜田サンドだけだし。
I guess it's stress, or maybe lack of sleep, and all we've been eating is tuna sandwiches.
ああ、やだやだ。どれも肌の大敵ね。
And all of those things are bad for my skin. As she complained, Sarah took a jar filled with tablets from the medicine shelf.
はい、どうぞ。
Here you go. I guess you took the same ones. I gulped down the tablets that Sora gave me. Where did you go?
更衣室。
To the changing room. Huh? Why? She's going to change?
うん、よくわかんないけどね。
Yeah, I don't know the details though. At that point, Sugumi came into the room. Both Sarah's and Sora's expressions tensed. You too, Sugumi?
は？
Huh? It's weird, but everyone seems to be feeling ill today. So I thought that you might be feeling bad too. Oh, the dots.
私は違うわ。私はただ
Not me. I just...
様子を見に来ただけ。
I came to check things out. Huh?
妙といえば、彼、頭おかしくなったんじゃないの？
Speaking of weird, I think that guy's lost his mind. That guy?
もしかして、たけしのこと？
Do you mean Takeshi? Sugumi nodded.
かなり挙動不審だったわよ。
He's been acting pretty strange.
目を血走らせながら、避難用通路に入っていったけど。
His eyes are all bloodshot, and he went into one of the emergency corridors.
なんだか鼻息も荒かったわね。
He was breathing funny and acting strange too. Huh? He seemed in a bad mood? But was he that out of it?
元からそうだったけど、頭をやられちゃったのかもね。
He was kind of like that from the start, but I think that maybe he's lost it.
鼻息が荒い？
Huh? What do you mean he was acting strange?
まさかとは思うけど。
I don't think it could be this, but... All the dots? All the dots.
クラナルさんでしたら、ちょっと待ってくださいね。
Let me see. Right now, Kiranari-san is...
今、ちょうど更衣室の上の通路に。
Now he is just in the corridor above the changing room.
ねえ、ちょっと様子見に行った方が良くない？
Huh, hey, maybe we should go take a look? I think you're right. Sarah and I hurried out of the room.
あ、皆さん、更衣室の中には。
Oh, everyone, he's in the changing room. The two of us sprinted to the changing room. We arrived in front of it. There we heard you give an ear-splitting scream. No! What is this? I didn't believe it. It couldn't be. Dang it, that Takeshi! The door was shut. We thought it might be locked from the inside. I knew it wouldn't work, but I was going to try to kick open the door. But Sarah stopped me. Sarah went to work on the keypad next to the door. It seemed that she had a code for emergencies like that, and the door just opened up. I immediately burst into the room. Hey, Takeshi. Huh? Huh? You was alone in the room. Where's Takeshi at? She had already finished changing. What? What? Who do you think you are? Bursting in here, you idiot! Ow! The magazine you had thrown at me hit me full in the face. I felt a piercing pain in my nose.
Senpai, 無事ですか?
Not cute. You alright?
何のこと?
Huh? What are you talking about?
だって、たけしが。
I mean Takeshi.
クラナリ？クラナリがどうしたって?
Kiranari, what about him? Wait, where is Takeshi? Takeshi wasn't anywhere in the room. Come to mention it, there were no emergency exits to the room at all. There was no way for him to enter in from an emergency corridor. What about that scream just a minute ago? What was that? It was a rat, wasn't it? I rubbed my nose as I said that. Oh, that. You took the collar of a jacket and showed it to us. Look at this, it's got a coffee stain on it. Do you believe that? Alright, it's not a rat, but where is Takeshi? Hold on! Stop trying to change the subject. There did seem to be a little black stain. Well, that's all? You screamed because of that? Well, yeah. I mean, this is my favorite jacket. Don't just freak out like that. And if you're done changing, why'd you throw that at me? What are you talking about? You're the one who broke into a room where a girl might be changing? I looked again at the magazine you had thrown at me. On the cover of the magazine was a glossy picture of a screw and a screwdriver. It was a copy of Monthly Toolbox magazine. What is something like this doing in the girls' changing room? Something red dripped on the floor. I had a nosebleed. Yuck, why'd you have to go and get a nosebleed? Well, you kind of threw a magazine at my face. That's kind of what happens when someone assaults your face, you.
君って正真正銘の新生純情少年くんなんだね。
Leave it to someone named Kid to get a nosebleed. Talk about ironic. It's because you threw this magazine at me. I plugged my nose with tissues handed to me by Sarah as I fumbled for an explanation.
まさかそのネジを見て。
Don't tell me you looked at that magazine and...
そんなの嫌すぎる。
Yuck, you're gross. It's a tools magazine. And no, that's not what happened. You threw it at my face. That's not it.
ああ、それにしても心配して損した。
I guess we didn't have anything to worry about to start with.
まあいいや。
Oh well. With that, Sarah left the room. What? Are you leaving?
私用事あるからさ。
Yep, I've got things to do. Things?
いろいろとね。生産しとかなきゃいけないことが残ってるの。
Lots. There are things I gotta take care of. All the dots. I thought that I detected a gleam of determination in Sarah's eyes.
じゃあ、あとよろしく。
So, I'll leave the rest to you. Sarah waved to me as she left. But an instant later, she had poked her face back in the room.
あ、そうそう。お二人とも。
Oh, you too. Huh?
ごゆっくり。
Take your own sweet time. That time, she didn't come back. You and I sat on the bench in the changing room facing opposite directions. Mahakala? Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to look up that one later because I've not heard of that word at all. But what happened to Takeshi? Finally, the two of us were alone. It was a situation I had been trying to avoid. I fidgeted as I thought of the touch of her lips the day before. I wondered why we had stayed there. It was because you didn't try to go anywhere. With what Sarah had said, I could just say see you and leave. If I did that, she'd be able to tell that I was still hung up on the day before. I tried not to think about it. But the more I tried not to think about it, the more I did. The part of me that knew all of that pretended I was unaware of it while acting like I was. But that just led to me actually being aware of it. So I tried to pretend not to think about it as I was pretending to think about it. That's confusing. Huh? Then I realized that was all meaningless. The more I thought about it, the more confused I got. All the dots. I sat down next to you and just stared at the ceiling. All the dots. Just all the exchanges of dots, and the dots keep getting longer. Oh man. Oh, that's right. This silence is bad. I better break this awkward silence somehow. I thought I would try to say something and calm myself down. Did those clothes really suit you?
Huh?
Huh? No, I mean, why did you change? Unfortunately, my mind was still in a state of confusion and wouldn't follow orders.
そうね。いわゆる一つの決意表明かな。
I guess maybe you could call it an expression of my resolution. Huh?
着替えた理由。
The reason that I changed?
聞いたのは君でし
You asked me, right? Yeah?
ょ。レミューのユニフォームを脱ぎ捨てて、私の日常に即した服を身につける。
I decided to dump the Lemieux uniform for the clothes I normally wear.
レミューでの私、さよならって意味と、日常の私、こんにちはって意
It's a
味
way-
を込めて、
It's a way of saying goodbye to my Lemieux self and hello to the normal me.
私は何が何でもここを脱出して、普段の生活に戻るの。
I just want to get out of here and get back to my regular life.
そういう決意表明。
That's why I decided. So that's why. Yeah. All the dots. All the dots. Just back to the awkward silence, elongated dots. At that rate, I figured the conversation was sure to fizzle out. I need something to talk about. The third eye, Lemuria, or used past. We should talk about the third eye. Oh, that reminds me. I want to ask you about the third eye.
第三視点
The third eye? Yeah.
最後に第三の
And the third eye.
目それはここに
That's right here. Ooh. Woo. Suddenly I remembered and vividly relived the feeling of our lips touching the night before. Oh, the dots. Oh, the dots. I was totally regretting that I had brought up the topic.
そういえばさ
That reminds me. Eh? Yeah?
第三視点って概念の本当の意味教えてなかったよね
I didn't really tell you about the meaning of the concept behind the third eye, did I? No? You always say I'll tell you next time.
そうだったね
You're right.
よしいい機会だからお姉さんが手取り足取り教えてあげよ
Well, this is a good chance for me to tell you the whole story. Really? Well, you can skip the boring stuff. You stood up and turned to face me.
うご本
Ahem.
ではナッキュ先生の第三視点講座を始めるとします
It is time to start Professor Nakyu's seminar on the third eye. I clapped for her half-heartedly.
当たり前の話だけど人間は2つの視点を持ってるよね
First, we'll start with something that's blatantly obvious. People have two eyes, right?
一つは右目もう一つは左目
One on the right, one on the left. You winked with one eye and then the other.
この2つの視点によって人間は立体を認識することができるの
With these two eyes, people are aware of the three-dimensional world around them.
もしも仮に片方の視力を失ってしまったとしたら不可能とまでは言い切れないけど立体を認識することは極めて困難になる
If you lost the sight in one of your eyes, I won't say it would be impossible, but it would be difficult to get a sense of the world, its depth and dimensions.
ちょっと片目をつぶってみて
Close one eye for a second. I closed my right eye as she said.
そうして見える世界は基本的には平面としての情報だけによって構成されてるでしょ
When you look at the world that way, the information you get is only enough to basically form a flat image of the world.
もちろん焦点ピントを合わせたり眼球を動かしたりすることによって物体の立体感を把握することができないわけじゃないけど
Of course, by focusing on different areas or moving your eyes, you could get a sense of the three-dimensional image of things, but
でも両目を使ってる時に比べれば立体としての認識度っていうのかなそういうのは著しく低下してるはず
it wouldn't give you anything close to the perspective or dimensional awareness that you would have using both eyes.
言ってることわかる
Do you understand what I'm talking about? All the dots.
じゃあ余分なことは抜きにして言うけど
Alright, I'll leave out the unnecessary stuff.
つまりこういうこと
In other words, this is what I mean.
人間が片方の目だけから入手できる情報は平面二次元としての情報だけなのである
If a person looks at the world through one eye, they only get enough information for a flat or two-dimensional view.
要するに写真と同じなのよ
Essentially, it's like a picture.
一枚の風景写真を見たとき手前に林があって奥に湖があってそのまたずっと向こうに山脈があって
If you're looking at a photograph of scenery, you have the trees in the foreground, a lake in the middle, and a string of mountains in the background.
というような遠近感を確かに知覚することはできる
Thus, you get a sense of distance in the picture.
でもその写真はあくまでも二次元じゃない
But that picture is still only two-dimensional, right?
平面上に現像しただけだよね
It was developed on a flat surface.
というわけで写真というのは3次元の映像を二次元的に再現したものだってことが分かってもらえたと思うんだけど
So, a photograph is actually a three-dimensional image recreated two-dimensionally. Now that I think you understand that. All the dots. Yeah, it's why you can't look at the world using a flat map. Because you're going to get an imperfect picture. No matter what type of map you used, you can't look at a spherical thing as a flat surface.
まだわからない
That's why we have globes. What? You still don't get it? I don't get it, and my left eye is tired.
しょうがないな
Oh well.
じゃあ今度は左目を閉じて
Okay, this time close your left eye.
こら両目つぶってどうすんのよ
Hey, what are you doing? What are you going to see with both eyes closed? I held the eyelid of my left eye shut with my left hand as I opened my right eye.
そうそう
That's it.
そしたら ちょっと軽く実験でもしてみようか。
Now, how about we do a little experiment? Experiment? Nodding, you took a marker out of a pocket. She took the cap off and handed the marker to me. So, what do I do?
私が持ってるこのキャップにサインペンをはめてみて。
Try to put the pen in the cap that I'm holding. You turned the cap sideways and held it in front of me. Oh, look at this picture. Ah, it's so cool looking. So, you want me to put the tip of this in that hole of yours? Wow.
うん、早く入れて。
No comments. Yeah, hurry up. You want me to put it in?
うん、
Yeah. I took the shiny black pen, lifted it toward the little cap that you held, trying to put it in. Huh? Well, that's weird. I can't find the hole. The slightly slippery tip wouldn't slip into the hole. I tried again and again, but it wouldn't go where you wanted it to go. It should be easier than this.
もうだらしないな。
Jeez, you're really bad at this. Well, what do you expect me to do? It's my first time doing this. Ow! Sorry.
どこに刺してんのよ。そこじゃないでしょ。
Where are you poking that thing? That's the wrong spot.
もうちょっと手前。
It's a little closer to you. Here?
違う違う。もっと奥。
No, no, farther back.
そこに入れて。早く。
Yeah, right there. Stick it in. Hurry. Click. I got it. Finally, it's in.
すごいすごい。こんなの初めて。
Oh, good. You did it. And it's your first time. Oh, the dots. Oh, the dots. Yeah. A lot of awkward dots there.
あるからして。
Oh, so that is how that works.
一つの視点だけでは立体を認識することがいかに難しいことなのかご理解いただけたと思うのですが。
I think you've seen how hard it is to be aware there are different dimensions of things from just one perspective. So,
まとめるとこういうこと。
to review, this is what I mean.
一つの視点から得られる情報は平面、二次元的な情報だけ。
The information that you get from one point is flat or two-dimensional information.
立体、三次元的な情報を獲得するためにはその視点が最低でも2つ以上は必要なの。
To get enough information for a three-dimensional view, you have to have at least two perspectives.
つまり右目と左目。
That is, your right and left eyes.
この2つの視点を使わない限り私たちは瞬間的に3次元を認識することはできないのよ。
If you don't use two viewpoints, then you won't be able to register what's going on around you in three dimensions. Huh?
まだわからないかな。
Do you still not get it? I see what you're saying, but what does this have to do with the third eye?
どんな関係も何もないって。
It doesn't have anything to do with it.
もうほとんど説明し尽くしちゃってるんだから。
I've already just about explained the whole thing. Huh?
だったら逆にこっちから質問するけど、
Alright, let me try something else. Let me ask you a question.
一つの視点から得られる情報は
What kind of information can you get from one perspective? You said two-dimensional information, right?
次に二つの視点から得られる情報は
And what kind of information can you get from two perspectives? I think you said three-dimensional
で
information.
は三つの視点から得られる情報は
And from three perspectives, what kind of information could you get? Four-dimensional information, maybe? Huh? The fourth dimension. You nod slowly, listening to me. So the fourth dimension was... Wait, what was the dimension anyway? You took a notebook out of her locker and started illustrating her points with diagrams using a familiar pen. Zero-dimensional. A world made of no points. Or a world made of points. With zero dimensions, there is no mass, no area. It is depicted using coordinates. Or we might call it nothingness or even zero. One-dimensional. This is an extension of the point. It is a straight line. In other words, a cross-section of a straight line is a point. This is depicted by one concept, length. Two-dimensional. That is an extension of the straight line. It is a flat world. In other words, a cross-section of a plane or flat world is a straight line. That is depicted using two concepts, length and width. Three-dimensional. This is an extension of the flat world. It is the three-dimensional world. In other words, a cross-section of the solid world is a plane or flat surface. This is depicted using three concepts: length, width, and height. This isn't the most precise way of putting it, but you can't think of three dimensions as an area in space composed of length, width, and height. By depicting length, width, and height on the X, Y, and Z axes, one axis adds a vertical element to the other two. And the fourth dimension adds a T axis, or time, to these three. And because four dimensions is no longer just space, it is called space-time. One of the X, Y, Z, and T axes has a vertical element, crossing perpendicularly to the other three. Four-dimensional. This is an extension of three dimensions world of space and time. In other words, a cross-section of space-time is three-dimensional. Four dimensions are depicted using four concepts: length, width, height, and time. So basically, if you're able to gain the third eye, then you have enough information to experience four dimensions.
そう。空間プラス時間。
Yep, it's space plus time.
私たちが2つの眼球を使って目の前の広がった空間の映像を一瞬にして理解できるように。
Just like we can use our two eyes to constantly have an image of this space in our world before us. So with three perspectives, we can also be aware of the cross-cutting element of time.
そういうことである。
Yep, that's it. You put the cap on the pen. I feel like I kinda understand.
何が？
What? My premonitions. I didn't travel through time.
第三視点を獲得した後は
I know! You gained the third eye!
だから未来のことがわかるんとは
That's why you know the future!
なんてバカバカしいこと言い出さないよね。
Would you stop talking about these stupid theories of yours? Ouch. You don't think so?
ダメ。
Nope.
だって全然説得力ないもん。
I mean, there's no evidence.
どうして少年はいきなり第三視点を開眼することになったの？
Why would your third eye suddenly open?
その理由は？方法は？
For what reason? By what method? I'll bet if I get my memory back, then I'll...
またすぐそうやって記憶喪失のせいにする。
That again, you always fall back on your amnesia.
っていうかさ、そもそもその記憶喪失の原因を探ってるんじゃなかったの？
You were looking for the cause of your memory loss in the first place, right?
記憶喪失と第三視点とにどんな関係があるわけ？
So what do amnesia and the third eye have to do with each other? All the dots.
それから少年が見たって言ってたあの幻の女の子のことは？
And what about that ghost girl that you said you saw? All the continued dots?
まったくもう短絡的っていうか浅はかっていうか幼稚っていうか。
I mean, it's so naive, stupid, and childish. But your mom believed in it, right?
その話はやめて。
We're not going there.
もう過去のことは考えたくないの。
I don't want to think about the past.
昨日そう言ったじゃない。
I told you yesterday as well. But do you like things the way they are? You don't care if you never find out who your mom and dad are for the rest of your life?
やめて。
Stop it! You had covered both her ears in denial. All the dots. I want to know about my past. I still hope to find it out. But I don't have my memory, no any clue to go by, so... All the dots. You have your memory, right? So that means you have something that I don't have. You have a clue. And more than that, you were able to get information from Lemmy. So how come you still don't want to think about it? All the dots. I thought you came to Lemieux because you wanted to find out the truth. Why'd you change your mind? Did something make you change? Why are you denying your past? Isn't that the same as denying yourself? With your own two eyes. Why don't you try to face the truth directly? Oh, the elongated dots. You. I grab Yu's arm and pull them away from her ears. Answer me, why? Why do you want to give up when you're almost there? Why throw away everything that you've worked so hard for? I shouted at her. Because I couldn't believe what she was doing. It was something that she would be hard-pressed to find in her wildest dreams. And just as she was about to attain it, she had suddenly changed her mind. I was nowhere near reaching my dream, but Yu's was almost within her reach. So I felt terribly, terribly disappointed. Oh, the dots. I don't get it. What you've longed to know is right in front of you, and I was so jealous and so happy for you. Why? Oh, the dots.
怖くなったの。
I got scared. Huh?
真実を知るのが怖くなったのよ。
I got scared of learning the truth. I understand that. Alright, my friends, my name is FlightlessBird, this is your Sorbet's Game Channel, and this is our blind Let's Play of Ever 17, the Out of Infinity for the PC. We gotta take a break here. Thank you so much for everything. Love you all greatly. By the way, quick note, if you are wondering, no, I will not be canceling this playthrough or putting it on pause when Nirvana Initiative comes out later this month, which is the sequel to either Somnium Files. I have full intention of completing this game before starting a new one. We started the quarry on launch day because I had completed Escape from Monkey Island day before. So if you're wondering, hey, what's going to happen Ever 17? Absolutely nothing. We're going to finish one game before starting the next. It's just the way we do it here. So yeah, thank you for everything. And until next time, so long and take care. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment on what you saw and what you would like to see next. I always love to hear your thoughts. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more. Also, please do not forget, you matter. You are brilliant and you are loved. And you should always remember to be true to yourself. Don't let the world tell you any different. Much love to you from your friendly feathered flightless bird. Till next time.